welcome you all to being here for the Living a Mindful Life workshop. So our goal with the workshop is to have you understand what mindfulness is about and how to live your life more mindfully. First, I want to give a little breakdown though about what we're going to do. I'm going to start the workshop and I'm going to have you do some writing exercises. Does everybody have a pad and a pen? We'll do some Q&A if you have any questions, and I'm going to guide you through a few meditations, through a few mindfulness meditations. We're going to get started with what is mindfulness. Does anybody have an idea as to what mindfulness is? You can just talk off the top of your head of what comes to your mind about mindfulness. What does it mean to you?
Instinct.
Instinct. Okay, so is it using your instinct?
Feeling it.
Feeling it, okay. Feeling it in your body, feeling it with sensations in your body. So it's like an intuition. Okay.
Being aware of what you do.
Being aware of what you do. Okay. Anybody else?
Being present in the moment.
Exactly, yeah.
Being present.
Okay. Anybody else? Well, mindfulness is all of the things that you said. The simplest meaning of mindfulness is living your life in the present moment that's existing right now, which is the moment that we're all sharing together, which is considered to be the most real moment of your life, the moment that you're in right now. And living that moment with an open heart and no judgment. That sounds pretty simple, doesn't it? Does that sound? No, I got a shaking of a head, no. So what's not simple about that?
Not living in the moment and trying to get rid of your thoughts or your anxieties.
Right, exactly. And the reason for that is that the minute we wake up, from the second we open our eyes, we start our day moving towards being in every other moment than the moment that we're in. Our day starts to be about, I gotta go, I gotta do, I gotta be, I gotta see, I gotta accomplish, I have to do this, I have to do that, even thinking about what's gonna happen later on at night. This is what I'm gonna have for dinner. So we're completely in this flow of being somewhere else. And if we're not in the future, we're in the past. We're thinking about what happened yesterday, what didn't happen yesterday, what could have happened better yesterday, what pissed you off about yesterday, that you're then carrying the past into the present and you're carrying the future into the present. So they cancel out being in the present by being everywhere other than the moment that you're in. Mindfulness is a quality that each of us has. We all have an inherent mindfulness in us, but if it's not cultivated and if it's not valued, then we don't use it. If we don't really value being in the present moment of our lives, then we get caught up in the current and get caught up in the chatter of our mind, and that starts to take over and that starts to dictate the quality of our life. Well, I think that if that's in fact what's going on, it's diminishing the quality of our life because we're allowing ourselves to be taken over by a time that is not existing in the moment and by the activity of our mind that we surrender to. So it is as if you're not in control of your thoughts. What mindfulness does is it brings your awareness. You described it with awareness. When we're mindful, we're aware that our thoughts are taking us over. We suddenly become the observer of our thoughts. And the key with developing mindfulness in our day is to be able to know when we're in mindfulness and when we're out of mindfulness. And the whole goal really here today is for you to have a whole different outlook on how you view being present in your life, so that when you are not in the present moment of your life, you can recognize that you're not, and you can be able to pull yourself back into the moment so that your thoughts are not controlling you. Now that all sounds easy to do. The mind is an incredibly busy thing. I think we think something like from 10 to 60,000 thoughts a day. I mean, just wrap your mind around that. How many thoughts, how busy our minds are, that we are constantly thinking, and the mind is a kind of a troublemaker. You know, it's always conjuring something up. It's conjuring up ideas and problem solving and what it needs to do. And as a result of it, it gives us a feeling of dissatisfaction, that it's just not good enough. So therefore, the moment that you're in doesn't seem good enough because the mind is telling you that it's not. It's telling you what you didn't yet do, what you're not good at, enough at. And again, you're surrendering to that. So how do we cultivate mindfulness and not make it just an intellectual concept? How do we actually really integrate that into our lives? Well, first of all, you have to have a desire to want to find time in your day where you say, stop. I need to stop. I need to stop the busyness in my mind. Now, I don't know how many of you are meditators. Does anybody meditate here? Okay, so if you've meditated, even though you don't really stop the mind, you know, I think one of the biggest difficulty with meditation for people is they have this expectation that if they're going to meditate, that they're going to suddenly stop thinking. Mindfulness meditation helps you have a point of focus, which we're going to do in a little while, and to have a focus which is the breath, so that when your mind is busy, you can bring your awareness back to something. And by making that commitment, by making it, if you have a discipline, if you make a commitment to exercising, if you make a commitment to anything that really much supports your well-being, mindfulness, which enriches every moment that you're in, it makes you kind of wonder, why wouldn't we want to live our lives mindfully? Why wouldn't we want to get the absolute best optimum results of the moment that we're experiencing? I mean, I don't know about you, but that's really important to me. I want to feel that I got a lot of bang for my buck with my life, that every moment of my life was really valuable to me. And mindfulness is the ticket for that. I equate it to using all of your senses. When we're mindful, all of our senses are just fully alive and functioning at an optimum. Think of a sunset, when you're watching a sunset, or anything that really you take pleasure in. If you're not fully present and watching that, I'm looking at the palm trees, and really surrendering to the idea that I am here sitting alive in this moment, and I am wanting to take a look at the sunset, the clouds, the palm trees, all of you, and really surrender to that, I'm not going to get the most out of it. It's like you're half listening to somebody that you're talking to, you're half looking at a sunset, you're half tasting a meal that you're eating, you're half smelling something that's really fragrant and beautiful. So if you can think of mindfulness in a way of enhancing the quality of your life, then you might start to value it a little bit more and think, I'm in the driver's seat of my life, and having a beautiful quality to the best of my abilities, because we all know that life has a lot of difficulty in it, but if we can preserve the moments that we can really get pleasure from, why wouldn't we make an effort to do so? So I want to ask you something. I've been talking for what, maybe 10 minutes, would you say?
Okay.
Who can honestly say that while I've been talking, your mind went other places?
Other places?
You thought of other things while I was talking. Okay. I want you to write down what those thoughts were. Now, if you can't remember what you were thinking when I was talking, think back to maybe driving over here, waking up this morning, last night before you went to bed. What was preoccupying your mind? If it's a thought that you can't remember, then that thought is gone. But if it's a reoccurring thought, or it's a thought that gnaws at you and annoys you and bugs you, write it down, because it's going to give you an idea as to what kind of thoughts occupy our mind that take center stage a lot of the time. Do you know? And they're like disruptive thoughts to the well-being of the moment that we're experiencing. So we're going to take a couple of minutes and just whatever comes to your mind, whatever you can remember in the last 24 hours, 36 hours, a thought maybe that comes up a lot for you. You can write down as much as you want. It's really for you, so that you can look at this at another time, and maybe by the time you look at this again, you might recognize how insignificant this thought is to your life, and that it's taking up a lot of airtime in your mind? Do you know? I mean, it might shine some light on that, or it might be a thought that you need to really sit with and process and give it its due time so that it doesn't interrupt or interfere with other moments in your life. Or do a deeper investigation as to what it's about. What does that thought want from you? What is that thought trying to tell you? Now, if anybody wants to share anything that they wrote down.
I wrote I should be recording this. This would be good for my kids to hear, who are always on their phone and not really being very mindful. They might be walking on the beach with me, but they're looking at the phone.
Right, yes, it's epidemic.
Yeah.
It's epidemic with the younger generation. They've got a real reality check when it comes to being in the present moment without multitasking. What?
Instant gratification. All the kids want it.
Yes, instant gratification, right. We want that for our kids. It's funny you're bringing up your kids, but yet can you relate to half doing anything in your day?
Absolutely.
Can you relate to when you feel like you're just sort of like kind of phoning it in or cruising through your moments of your day, or half listening to your children, your partner, a colleague, a coworker, or having a meal and then not feeling so satisfied after you ate it, or any experience that you've had that you didn't really feel satisfied? Did you,
Well, I think we also feel like that's how we're treated sometimes. I mean,
so you're not treated mindfully.
you're giving your whole self, and then somebody else is only half.
Right.
What's the difference between consciousness and mindfulness?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I mean, I think you have to define, well, consciousness is quite I think it's easier to define mindfulness than consciousness. I think, Deepak Chopra and many great thinkers are trying to deconstruct what consciousness is. I think it's more of an abstract. I don't even know if you can define what consciousness is. But there is, consciousness is the awakened awareness of our being. Do you know, to be conscious?
That are out, I just say they're self, they're not conscious.
Well, that's a word that's used a lot. I think we use the word unconscious. That was so unconscious of you, or not being conscious, not being in the moment, not being present. There's tremendous similarities to those two things. I think they're one and the same in many ways and very much related. Anybody else want to share what they wrote? No judgment here. No, mindfulness is about no judgment. It's about open heart and non-judgment. It's really about accepting. It's accepting, just dropping in, whatever that means to you. So nobody else wants to share? No, okay.
Well, but mine wasn't as mindful. While I was sitting here, I thought about golf, and I thought about how this mindful is going to help me and how I can put it to practical use.
Great.
And I was thinking about buying a car, where to go to dinner, what I have to do next week, and about 2 other business deals, but I was paying attention.
So that's a real multitasking mind. Right.
You know me.
Yeah. So now, how do you think you could maybe put some of those thoughts on the back burner? And
That's a $64,000 question.
right. Do you think that, we're going to do some meditations of how to bring your focus back to things that can help you stay focused and centered, so that the thoughts are like that cloud. See that cloud up there? If you watch it for a couple of seconds, it's going to move. It's not going to stay the same. So the thoughts come and they go. It's when we get attached to those thoughts and we start to over-identify with them, and they start to diminish us in some way, that we are no longer in a mindful state.
I wanted to make a comment about what you're discussing now, because Alan earlier said something about anxiety having a value. And I think that one of the things I put down here, and one of the reasons I was able to come today, is because I canceled a trip to be able to do things that were work-related. So obviously some of the things that were distracting me and continue to distract me are projects at work.
Right.
But sometimes you need those, or else you don't get anything done.
Sure.
And so one of the things I actually made sure to do before I came here today was create an outline for a presentation I have to do that I'm under the gun to do. And I knew that by doing that, it would not be as pervasive, and it hasn't been. So my point being is that issue about anxiety and the things that are coming in and flooding in, and some of those are, a lot of them are noise.
Right.
But sometimes they're very important messages.
Absolutely. They can be very important messages, but it's when we react to them sometimes that we start to go on that hamster wheel. There's the reminder, it's like the first reminder, oh, I have to do this by such and such a time. A lot of the thoughts that follow that are, am I going to get it done in time? How am I going to do it? Am I going to have enough time? Oh, but I've also got to do this. And then it starts to go on automatic. So I think by acknowledging that thought and saying, note to self, thank you, mind, for that reminder that I have to do this later, but I want to give my full attention and my focus to what I'm doing right now.
But what helps me is if it's there to do something. It's 5 minutes to do something.
Right.
To advance that issue, and then I can really let go of it.
Right.
So, sometimes I know, oh yeah, that's 3 weeks away.
Sure.
And that can,
yeah.
But when it's too close, nothing helps me but doing something for it.
Right. So so that when you have a job related, something that you've got to do, so the way it works for you best is that you carve out a time for yourself to do it. Mm-hmm. Okay.
And just make some sort of an effort toward it, and then I can let go of it for a while. And it's the same thing if something is ruminating about, oh, I should have said this, I should have done this, that upset me. I write the email. I may not send it right away, but I get it out and then I put it away.
Right.
And then it just gives me that breather I need, not to have to.
And if you can do that, for the most part, sounds like you can. If you can't do something in the moment, we know that can be very disruptive, because you could be on,
That's a whole other thing.
Because you can be a very high-powered, busy working person. You can be on vacation and something happens and you might not be able to address it exactly in that moment, or maybe for the next 3 hours. The whole idea with mindfulness is having a skill, having a tool that you can use so that you don't suddenly get so sucked into that vortex, if you will, of overthinking and overanalyzing and over diminishing yourself and over berating yourself. That's oftentimes what happens.
Particularly if you can't do anything about it.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right. So I encourage being an observer of the mind, of the thoughts, and not to be a reactor. And by stepping outside, what mindfulness does is because of the awareness, it helps you step out of your thinking mind to become the observer. Oh, okay, I'm feeling anxious right now. I've got 20 things I've got to do before the week is over, and I've only done 2 of them. I'm finding myself feeling anxious. I'm feeling short of breath. I'm feeling nauseous. I'm feeling very nervous. I'm feeling really uptight. Those are the kinds of things that start to happen when we're not allowing for the thoughts when we allow for those thoughts to take us over. So that's part of the mindfulness toolkit, if you will. You can't always address what needs to take place right in that moment.